I cannot hardly believe that it was nearly a decade after you were born that I had my own birth, and that it's been 51 years since then, and another year now, and then a decade ago when we celebrated your last milestone birthday and I failed to deliver a speech. It's something about speeches and absences, awakening to new realities with beautiful cliches of new girlfriends or something. Not unlike the last crappy speech I entrusted you with for my wedding as best man. Time heals all wounds, and we forgive and forget cliches. Speaking of which, time changes so much as it flies by, passing past us with those necessarily absent, and with the so-called necessity of their absence. Their presences are nevertheless as present as those of your grandchild Blake, or my own children Francesca and Rafferty. It is this that which we believe is love and its beauty, intangible, unquantifiable, transcendental feelings within our hearts, if not beyond expression itself, then so complex to express. And that is what this speech and our night last year for you was about, in regard to Michael and our love for him. He's prone to exaggeration, but apparently his name has a meaning bearing the gift from God or of resembling God. I cannot hardly believe my dearest beloved brother is now a sexagenarian, and yet when we meet others they believe it actually is him who is the youngest and I'm the oldest. I'm tempted to say such an ageless, youthful beauty somehow beats my own, only just by a nose, and that is at least, in your case, quite a margin. You and your calves really do put the sexy and sexagenarian like my yellow teeth. I not only want but need to let you, my dearest beloved brother, dearest, know how much gratitude and love I believe you deserve for the contributions you have made to us and our lives, for all the things you have done and all the things you do. Surviving growing older not only connects us intimately closer together within time. Surviving growing older connects us intimately closer together within time. As I started my own family, I believe actually I might have really envied and appreciated your abject positivity, some would say toxic, pragmatic wisdom and practicality, and your guidance and support for me whenever I needed it upon confessing to self-indulging my own abject negativity and its reveling within its nihilistic despair. Such despairing nihilism is incited every Wednesday by Michael's online social media posts with cheery, happy hump day posts. You're often the voice of reason tempering my irrational hysteria. And such is the illogic of my hysterics that I've had life's worst generously pessimistic narratives approach a cautious optimism upon calling you upon the telephone. With nigh upon a decade age difference between us, I was the annoying little sister, goddamn AI chat GPT, perpetually craving someone to play with me. And such play included footy, rugby league, where Michael, you would kick off wearing your Eastern Suburbs Roosters, now the shitty City Roosters, and proceed to smash and dump me. Some might be surprised that they were the team you used to support, because of course you now go for the Canberra Raiders. Hang on, who is it? Oh, that's right, it's the Melbourne Storms, us living upon the Gold Coast. Poor Titans. Oh, and that's right, even though he is born and bred New South Welshman, he barracks for the Queensland Maroons. Born and bred in New South Wales. Where is Greg Peed when you need him? Oh, that's right, just down the road. Enough of the greatest game of all, for now. But I digress, where was I? Oh, that's right, being an annoying little bitch. Even with artificial intelligence's eyes, poor Michael was subjected to my famous legendary tantrums. Cricket was often a cause, and not when my brother bowled balls at a fast high speed, hunting my head as a target, nor when I was caught and bowled and Michael would have me laughing in stitches, lolling and rolfing, hysterically rolling around upon the ground, with his celebration of the wicket, throwing the ball high up in the air only for it to land upon his head, whereupon Michael stumbled around as if concussed and fall to the ground unconscious. Neither of such acts ignited the overwrought, emotionally hysteric, psychopathic wit within me, except when whomsoever was playing chose to call stumps. That would be less the end of it, or rather the beginning, of an excessively disproportionate meltdown of unimaginable scales. Most famously, although perhaps not as famous, as the hot chips incident, where somewhere within Canberra, whereupon I ate too hot a chip that was too hot, and I proceeded to shout, scream and holler below the table until my parents relented and surrendered to me. Their spoiled, unhinged, psychopathic bright and my irrationality fleeing the restaurant, embarrassed with shame only for Michael to return back again for the chips, concluding in a rusty tomahawk at the legs of my dearest brother, beloved brother, and a stump at the head for Daddy Dearest after chasing me around a tree, Prunus cercifera, or purple plum tree, and that flew over the paling fence into the backyard of our neighbours, the Carters, or Carter family. But I believe you had your times too, albeit not necessarily psychotic. There might have been one night when I was home alone whilst our parents were visiting the neighbours a couple of doors down at the Newbolds, and Michael with his friends knocked upon the doors and windows around our home, and I meekly asked the question, "Hello? Or who's there?" To naught but silence, until receiving no answer, I opened a window and jumped out, running to my parents with him and his friends chasing me. Michael also chased me below a bed with tomato sauce covering his face like blood, grasping for me like a zombie. I do believe he and some of his friends abducted some passers-by within the back paddock and had them as hostages too. Other ambivalent times included holding on for dear life as he doubled me upon his yellow Kawasaki motocross bike, speeding up embankments and down gullies. Other times I got to hang out and watch him and his friends was when they had bicycle racing competitions within the back paddock, or playing cricket, and I remember being smashed in the face with a cricket ball as I stepped through the paling fence door, with perhaps the sound of our neighbour Glenn Davis or whoever warning, "Duck!" Cue schadenfreude laughter as I retreated back inside again with a welt crying for Mum. A conspiratorial plan. "Hey Mick, watch me smash your annoyingly retarded brother with a cricket ball to the head." I confess I do believe my revenge might have had something to do with the styrofoam beer cooler you had secreted up the top within your wardrobe full of 50-cent coins. Or a neighbourhood bully and involuntary best friend Martin Saville made me do it. It wasn't just all sadism at the hands of an older sibling. Michael, for better or for worse, was a transformative, or rather transfigurative, influence musically. Whilst sure our parents had records, it was Michael and his backyard concerts with neighbourhood friends miming AC/DC and Kiss to patient, tolerant, delightfully lubricated parents humbly partying around the barbecue Dad had constructed with built-in KB beer cans that Mr. Warwick famously melted his inebriated drunk ass upon when he decided to have a seat and sit upon the hot plate. You had guitars made out of wood from memory. The sublime seduction of Kiss to a naive child was transmogrifying. Beyond the music, their theatrics spoke to me from the walls of Michael's bedroom, covered in posters, and this aspect might have been genetically inherited from our mum's brother, Uncle Carl, who I believe had a penchant for musical theatre, and whom I spontaneously was gifted the honour and privilege to be entrusted with pallbearer responsibilities at his funeral service with Michael, when surprisingly our cousin Leslie asked the question requesting our services without notice. Our shared interest in Kiss was not without its fraught contentions when one of us was gifted Kiss Alive 2 with a booklet at Christmas, and upon the next Boxing Day, said booklet was cut up with Michael's room redecorated. Neither necessarily forgivable nor forgettable, life is born from such times misremembered, such as attending the waterworks, pools, or several screenings of Kiss's Attack of the Phantoms at the cinema in Mount Druitt. Michael dutifully drove me around within his golden brown, two-door Holden Gemini with mag wheels, a modest chick magnet with his permed Paul Stanley hair, listening to Peter Cook and Dudley Moore's Derek and Clive on Neil Diamond's Hot August Nights. Michael proactively, and I'm assuming voluntarily, chaperoned me to my first real concert, that I believe was Mondo Rock in Richmond. With support, Birds of Prey, we attended the church upon their Starfish tour, and my first international concert was a show by Dire Straits at the Sydney Entertainment Centre upon the Brother in Arms tour celebrating a new innovation in recorded music, the digital compact disc. We walked in with the late Bernie Newbold Jr., and there we were entering the dance floor surrounded by 10,000 people. Bernie got stage fright and fled, escaping to the bar. Unforgettable. Some days I remember both of us lying together within the bottom of the bunk within my bedroom singing Michael Jackson's duet with Paul McCartney upon the album Thriller. Not sure who was who, except the song The Girl Is Mine features a spoken conversation at its conclusion between the pair as they discuss who they believe has the girl's heart. Michael, we're not going to fight about this, okay? Paul, I think I told you, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I've heard it all before, Michael. In fact, The Girl Is Mine might be transposed into The Team Is Mine upon a shared interest for the mighty rugby league team, the Parramatta Eels. Michael loves a winner, and with the construction of their new stadium in 1986, and so do I, as it turns out, without a team after my rugby league hero Tommy Rodonica's Newtown Jets were callously kicked out of the competition for bankruptcy in 1982, I'd fallen in love with them, their winners, and once again, Michael endured my company, especially when my adrenaline had got me off the leash, accusing players of indecent acts like an unhinged bogan psychopath. I can't hardly believe that I do not remember you yourself playing for Tregear Foxes, except I hear you were pretty good, if you don't mind saying so yourself, even though you never had the privilege of a grand final premiership, when I was playing for the Lethbridge Park Ravens, which I think have been proven wrong. When I was playing for the Lethbridge Park Ravens, whom were grand final premiers not once but twice, we attended Popperdetta Park to support the team across its grades, and one day for some reason Michael commenced a trial training my under-13s team, and well, whilst there might have been a few times I pitied my brother, this was it. They defied him with every instruction to the point of not only humiliation but their own shame. Good fucking team though, for a bunch of retards. Bogan retards. Speaking of Westy Bogan retards. Speaking of retardation, when I was 13, my family treated me like a retard. When I heard things around the dinner table, and I believed something was up, and it was the beautiful boy Justin Michael Peed was born. And when I met him, I remember wearing a handkerchief, looking down over him as I had a cold. Wow, I was ahead of my time. COVID. God, we adored him, and still do. Even when he reminds me of my uber boganness. Upon hearing Elton John's The Greatest Discovery played upon his 1986 Tour de Force tour, Michael chaperoned me to at the Entertainment in 1986, the birth of Michael's first son and my nephew, who was like a little brother, and I believe planted a seed of inspiration to be sown within the birth of my own son, Rafferty John. Talk about seed of peed. Seed of peeds. Seeds of bongs, nangs and nongs. The family peed upon the seeds. In those silent, happy seconds that surround the sound of this event, a parent's smile is made in moments. They have made for you a friend, and all you ever learn from them until you grew much older did not compare with the one they said. This is your brand new brother. This is your brand new brother. This is your brand new brother. My nephew Justin and I played footy within the American Ponds of my parents' hallway, and he ran hard at me, determinedly at me, sweating with perspiration like there was no tomorrow. And now I have deja vu with my own son, our little golden-haired ringer, strawberry blonde, blue ginger Meg's Rafferty John, blood nut, and both the stereotype of a temper, if only they were as calm as me. For their first grandson's birth, our parents built an extension. Michael blasted the stereo upon the weekend with the EQ's colour bars lighting up to Kisses Asylum, 1985 album, Kisses Asylum. I was transfixed, and Michael had me feel included when hanging out with his mates for the telecast of Live Aid. And then I found my own first love, who are beautifully represented, or were represented on your birthday here by my first true love's brothers-in-law, Kevin and Stephen Farley, and really commenced my own journey upon the fraught paths of love and its trail of broken hearts. And it's here where I might believe we self-indulgently estrange or alienate ourselves and trap within our own individual personal experiences. With Michael reunited with his high school sweetheart living in Wollongong, a literal distance had been established, and my burgeoning self-indulgent self-centeredness or self-involvement might have contributed to what I believe was an unforgettably forgettable wedding speech. And yet I was so surprised he entrusted me, except I was ashamed of how shamefully immature I felt. I was profoundly proud and fraught with such responsibilities, expressing what love means, subject to matrimony, including securing the wedding rings during the ceremony. I aspired to be naught but a low-life, dirty-ass punk, albeit a Commonwealth banker. What a wanker. We would meet for drinks within the city at whatever that underground jazz club was called upon Liverpool Street, or the Bowlers Club, 99 York Street, now Club York, for lunchtime burgers and beers, to obsess about whatever might have been topical, such as having been willingly indoctrinated into a Def Leppard fan by my beloved dearest brother Michael, the shocking death of my hero Def Leppard's guitarist Steve Clark, or the week in sport. After work, knock-off drinks were attended upstairs at the Century Tavern, and whatever the hell that bar was within Wynyard Station, the Flytech bar? What goes around comes around, and Michael, or rather my own karma, got revenge upon me when I entrusted him with my wedding speech as best man, and he lost it. Fortunately, unwittingly, and ironically, giving me an excuse to deliver another flawed wedding speech at my very own wedding. That Flytech bar had seats, airplane seats. You sat in the aisle like you're in an airplane. Very weird. Once Michael was living in Canberra with the birth of his beautiful daughter and my niece, Christy Louise, I do believe I was pursuing an inspiringly aspirational, self-destructive, self-sabotaging path, and yet, ironically and moronically, unsuccessfully failing to. It was only just more the festive seasonal celebrations with family, and whenever he might have visited Sydney, we might meet. I've always believed Michael was always the one who had it all together. He was the one who, I believed, always had a plan, who always believed he knew what he was doing. So whilst I was content fantasizing about successfully fulfilling goals and living life without a future, he was planning calculations of how he might successfully fulfill his own future with a young family and a successful promotions company, and inevitably a not-so-successful photographic laboratory as our reality was digitalized with our memories. Between then and now, both our love's journey have been subjected to life's vicissitudes, including love with its trials and tribulations, until here we are, with or without a few regrets. And lastly, but no means leastly, we express our gratitude to our better halves, or halves, and your better half, Janelle, who is coincidentally the same age difference as my own partner. For according to my mathematical calculations and your social media post online, she has helped assist within the endeavour of our lifelong project, getting you and your own shitty act together. No small feat, especially knowing the repressed baggage we Pete suppress as a family, and as do all families. You, Janelle, have gifted Michael a self-chrysalis effect, not only just with his new co-relationships to nature, but also to love, except we know our own innate immutability hauntologically guides us, yet we might transcend such immutable innateness both together, as an essential part of our essence, and as that which is the immovable object to the radical alterity of another's love and its unstoppable force, until there lies our fears exposed, scared of a reality where we might be challenged by the need to trust another for our own progressive evolutionary development. And finally, what really is lastly but not leastly is the love and gratitude we must have for our parents, Mum and Dad, Moira, Fate, Destiny, and Daryl, darling, beloved, who sacrificed themselves in ways I cannot hardly believe now as a parent. We have within our lifetime been blessed with such luck to have them. For better or for worse, We inherit traits to synthesize and become ourselves within our own path trajectory. I've learned so much. I've learned so much from you, Michael, about life and love's vicissitudes, its ups and downs. Having my own family has helped me to appreciate the complex tribulations of family life and parenthood. I am the worst critic and quite harsh, and cannot hardly believe nor express Michael's contributions to the family even more. His sense of responsibility, pragmatism, and usefulness has been less a guiding light or principle in my life, and rather more objects of envy. And whether he patiently listens, indeed awaits and tolerates my own impatient intolerance, hearing my misanthropic rants as if a psychotherapist, and offers financial services as a personal banking accountant for domestic offshore taxpayer-free havens, or even mundane household issues, cleaning such as cleaning products. You've been a confidant, and I, as I believe we all do, here or there at your party, wish you nothing but the best. Wish you nothing but the best. Not only for this, your goddamn 60th and now 61st goddamn birthday, another year on the goddamn gone forsaken son, but for the future, to a future whose many more years include behaviours not befitting our age, such as abject hangovers, drinking chocolate milk nightcaps, hoarding chocolate from the ghosts of Easter's past, sneaking dirty, disgusting ciggies, being told by strangers we make a great couple, enjoying the torturous premiership drought of the Parramatta Eels, and annoying hump day social media posts of our preferred social media platforms, or yet another Melbourne Storm's victory. Here is a poem by Andrew Hutchins. Brothers, good brothers, let us walk this road together to the end of it, whatever that may be. Let us share whatever the road may offer, the bitter poison and the honey tea. Brothers, let us walk this road together, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, as one. Whatever obstacles we face, we'll face them together, with a bond that can't be undone. This speech will compromise my autobiography, Seed of Peed. Seeds of peeds, seeds of bongs, nangs and nongs. Craig peed upon the seeds. Other things I meant to talk about. Racing pigeons, drowning, breaking pigeons' necks, so euthanizing pigeons, arguing with your ex-girlfriends, something about Poppy's funeral, and being gay. Right, thanks.